Now I understand. This changes everything.
My head hurts because we weren't just trading goods, we were decoding worlds.
The global market doesn't speak Oxford English. It speaks survival English. I speak perfect English, but in that meeting, I was the one who was lost.
The world doesn't care about my Oxford accent. They care about being understood.
If you can't simplify your message to a B1 level, you are the problem, not them. It's time to hack the system. It's time for the B1 code.
Don't lose customers because of native level. Real English, real customers, real results. Now more, jimmymello.com, and discover that. In a world of 7 billion, the one who speaks the majority code is the one who leads the room.
Language. So let's start with a quote that probably sounds completely backward. Don't let your fluency be a barrier. I mean, what? How can fluency, the very thing you've perfected, possibly be a problem? Well, because in the world of global business, that fluency, it can sometimes be the very thing holding you back. Let's find out why.
And this brings us to something we're going to call the fluency trap. Think of it as this hidden pitfall that, funny enough, many of the most skilled English speakers fall right into, and they don't even realize it. And yeah, it could be costing you way more than you think.
This is the question, isn't it? It's the silent thought happening in boardrooms and on Zoom calls all over the world. You know your English is flawless, so that confusion, that little bit of impatience you feel when the communication just breaks down, it's totally baffling. You automatically assume the problem has to be on their end, right?
But what if I told you the problem isn't a lack of English from your clients? What if it's an excess of unfiltered, imperfect English that your highly trained brain just can't process? This is the core idea we're going to unpack today. Maybe the communication failure isn't about their skills, but about your filter.
So this leads us to a really counterintuitive question. In a global conversation, who is the real weak link? I think the answer is going to surprise you.
This slide right here, this is a huge paradigm shift. The old traditional view is to blame the non-native speaker for making mistakes. But a new reality is setting in. The problem might actually be the fluent speaker, whose brain is so tuned to perfection that it can't filter the noise of how English is spoken in the real world. Think of it like this. Your brain has been overtrained. It's been conditioned for years to expect perfect grammar, perfect syntax, perfect pronunciation, and that makes it a fantastic processor of, textbook English. But it also makes it a surprisingly poor decoder of the imperfect, operational English that's spoken by the vast majority of the world. Your greatest strength has accidentally become your weakness.
All right, so if our overtrained brain is the problem, then what's the solution? Well, it's a new mental framework, and it's called the B1 code. Now, the B1 code isn't about learning more vocabulary or memorizing grammar rules. Not at all. It's a mental operating system. It's a tool that basically retrains your brain to stop listening for perfection and start decoding for intent. It's all about understanding the message behind the words, even if the words themselves aren't technically correct. And let's be super clear on this point. This is not about changing how you speak. This is a receptive skill. It's about upgrading your ability to listen and actually interpret the English that's really being used in global business every single day. Plain and simple, it's about hearing better. So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, training your brain to decode imperfection, it all starts by recognizing that there are predictable patterns. You see, the errors you hear in global English, they're rarely random. They are often predictable patterns. You'll hear things like people dropping articles, are, the, or using much simpler verb tenses. And of course, you'll hear word choices that are clearly influenced by a speaker's native language. Once you start seeing these not as mistakes, but as patterns, you can start to decode them.
And here's the best part. This is not some innate talent that you either have or you don't. Not at all. Becoming a better decoder of global English is a totally trainable skill. Anyone who is a fluent speaker can learn how to do this, for sure. And this is a brilliant illustration of the mental process. So, step 1, you hear a sentence like, "She no have experience." Your old brain might get stuck on the bad grammar. But the B1 code trains you to immediately, step 2, ignore the form. Step 3, you decode the core intent. And step 4, you instantly understand the meaning. She doesn't have experience. And with practice, this whole process becomes completely automatic.
Okay, so why does all of this matter? I mean, really? Well, developing this skill isn't just some cool academic exercise. It connects directly to real-world, high-stakes outcomes in your professional life. Just look at this slide. This highlights the real financial cost. Every single time you misunderstand what a client needs because of their broken English, you risk losing deals. Every time you misinterpret a brief, it leads to project delays. And inefficient communication, it just grinds a global team to a halt. The cost of miscommunication is very, very real. By mastering the B1 code, your whole role fundamentally changes. You're not just another fluent English speaker in the room anymore. You actually become a leader in communication, a kind of global interpretation trainer who can bridge gaps and create clarity where everyone else just finds confusion.
And that brings us to our final and most crucial takeaway. In our globalized world, perfect fluency, it's overrated. The real power isn't in speaking perfectly, it's in understanding imperfectly. So the real question is, are you ready to stop being just a fluent speaker and start being a powerful communicator?
They all speak English, but I don't understand them.
And they don't understand me.
Oh, man.
2 tacos, fast.
Jody, I didn't order that. I said no onions.
Look, I have to go.
They don't speak wrong. They just speak differently. The world doesn't speak perfect English.
Broken sentences. Fast requests. Every mistake costs time or a customer.
In global communication, the majority defines reality. Understand it. Win. Learn the B1 code. Learn to understand foreigners' English.
Learn to understand foreigners' English access. www.jimmymello.com